Two senior managers had just resolved their long-standing conflict, and the whole office was breathing a sigh of relief. Before that, the tension had gotten so bad that the president felt backed into a corner, and he wondered if one or both of these key employees were going to leave. And just when it seemed like the ceasefire had settled, something else popped up that threatened to undo it all. Hi, I'm Dr. Philip Scherer, and welcome to Think Like a Leader. In this episode, we're going to look at the topic of why your people can't hear what you're saying, to understand the pitfalls of communication, and we'll hear how these two managers resolved their issue and how you can too. So the story I heard from the first manager was, I just asked for a simple report and she stiff-armed me again. She's protecting her territory and she won't let me in. She's like, why do you need that? Why should I have to explain why I need the report? We're coworkers. I should just be able to ask for it, and she gives it to me without a lot of communication and noise. And I said, well, before we read too much into this, could we back up and look at the communication profile of your colleague? Let's pull out her do's and don'ts for communication and see how she wants to be talked to and how she's going to communicate with you. As the manager looked down through her colleague's do's and don'ts for communication, she saw one line that jumped out to her right off the page. It said, understand her need to frequently ask why. When she read that, her face broadened into a smile and she started to laugh. She's like, it's right there in her report. It says she's going to always ask why. When I asked for the report, she said, why do you need it? And I said, yeah, what if we try to understand her communication style and where she's coming from? When we did that, we began to understand that this colleague really wanted precision and everything to be correct. She didn't want to give the wrong information without understanding the context that was needed for and how she could best serve that goal. So she wanted to ask a lot of why questions and really understand it. It wasn't necessarily a stiff arm or a territorial action. Just by stopping and looking at these communication profiles, these two senior managers were able to avoid another blow up that had been embroiling the whole office in this walking on eggshells kind of tension. This is exactly the kind of scenario that I refer to when I talk about the value of DISC for leadership, building high performance teams, and building trust. Because nothing will undermine trust faster than someone feeling misunderstood or their words taken out of context, or they feel like someone else has an agenda that they're pushing. And a lot of times, because our communication styles are so different, we misunderstand each other. We all know what it feels like to be misunderstood or our words taken the wrong way. But it takes intentionality from leadership to have everyone sit down and really hear each other. DISC has been a great tool to help teams learn how to hear each other in a non-confrontational, non-threatening environment. Don't wait until the conflict and the tension is boiling up and then everybody's reading in between the lines. Do it early so that you can build a bridge of communication between all the different styles on your team. You can better understand where they're coming from and craft your communication so that it gets through to them. A lot of times people aren't hearing what you're saying just because of the way you're saying it. The content might be something they agree with. In fact, one of our most proactive clients takes these pages out of their DISC report and they will spend about 10 minutes in their monthly meeting giving everyone a chance to say, hey, this is what helps me to hear you. This is how I'm going to approach communication, and using real examples so that the team begins to build positive bridges and frameworks for communication. I hope that you will take a deeper dive into DISC and see how it could help you and your team to improve the one thing that everybody wants to do better, communication.